Welcome to our Mary Greeley Primetime Alive presentation, Making Exercise Stick. I'm Vicki Newell with the Primetime Alive program here at Mary Greeley Medical Center. As a reminder, if you would like more information about Primetime Alive or information on how to join, you can go to our website, mgmc.org/PTA. Our presenter today is Carrie Adams.
First thing, I want to kind of review what is exercise. It seems like an obvious definition, but physical activity that is planned, structured, and repetitive for the purpose of conditioning the body. Exercise consists of cardiovascular conditioning, strength and resistance training, and flexibility. And I looked at several definitions. I just like that one the best, but it needs to be intentional. Some people think exercise is this, which I would like people to put a little more effort into it than one paw on the treadmill. Some people think it's more like this, where it has to be all out, extremely intense, sweating bullets, and that's not really the case either. We're really shooting for somewhere in between. So cardiovascular exercise is exercise that's rhythmic, continuous, and performed with large muscles of the body. The American Heart Association currently recommends at least 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week. So that most people would divide that up into 30 minutes, 5 days a week. However, you can divide that up differently. Ideally, you want to exercise most days, but do whatever works for you. And of course, if you're just kind of starting an exercise program or you've got other things going on, you don't have to start at 150 minutes, but that's our goal. You want to work up to that. And by all means, if you're doing more than that, have at it. You can do more than that. That's not going to be a problem or anything that's wrong. Also, what is moderate exercise? So moderate exercise, the best way I can tell people to monitor it without too much effort is, can you still talk while you're walking, or can you still talk while you're doing your exercise? If you're so out of breath that you can't talk or can't say anything, that's more than moderate. You're going on some pretty hard exercise there. But you want to feel like you're working but still be able to talk or communicate. Some people say sing, whatever you prefer. It does look strange sometimes if you're exercising by yourself. Strength and resistance. Physical exercises which are designed to improve strength and endurance. And the current recommendation is to do that at least twice per week. I am a strong proponent of the strength, weightlifting, resistance exercise. I tell everybody, if you haven't started lifting weights, you should have done it yesterday. Start now, everyone. We all lose strength and balance as we age. It's really important to stay on top of that. And at least twice per week. And I would say that's if you're doing the exact same weight routine every time you do it. Twice per week is fine. But if you want to mix things up and do different muscle groups, it's okay to do that. And you can do different muscle groups and then tomorrow do a different muscle group. So you can work on your back and your biceps one day, and then your chest and your triceps the next day. But you don't want to keep burning those same muscles day after day after day, and your body doesn't have time to recover from that. So trying to get some recovery in there, but definitely getting on board with it. Also, your weights, you don't have to have fancy weights. You don't have to have formal weights. You can use things that are in your pantry. You can use things that are, you can use a jug of laundry detergent. You can use different things. If you're wanting to, of course, you want the same weight. And always modify if there's something that's not quite working right for you. You might need help with with physical therapy or a physician if that's something that's an issue for you. Flexibility and stretching. This is also something I think people don't do enough of. Physical exercise in which the specific muscle or tendon is deliberately flexed or stretched in order to improve the muscle's felt elasticity and achieve comfortable muscle tone. Again, this is 3 times per week, ideally every day. So what I tell people to do first thing in the morning, get out of bed, you're able to stretch, get things moving for the day. It's really easy to incorporate this in little bits throughout your day. I find myself, if I'm having a desk day and I'm sitting hunched over all day, I really like being able to get up, stretch. It's usually because my back hurts or something hurts that I want to get up and move and stretch a little bit. And then I do it a lot of times before I go to bed, or maybe even if I'm watching TV, something like that. It's really easy to get that stretching in, and it doesn't have to do everything all at one time. I'm going to go through some of the benefits of exercise. I don't think this is a huge surprise for most people. There's lots and lots of research showing us that there's a lower risk of heart disease, stroke, diabetes, high blood pressure, dementia, Alzheimer's disease, some cancers. And although I'm guessing this isn't an issue for this group or myself, pregnancy complications, but you can always pass that on to somebody that you know. Better sleep. Of course, that just makes sense. You're burning up energy. You're using energy throughout the day. You're going to sleep better at night. Your body's tired and ready to sleep. I know that if I'm busy or get exercise in the day, I always sleep better that night. If I've been sedentary all day, or even if I've been traveling all day, stuck in a car, stuck, on an airplane or something like that, sleep isn't usually great that night. So most people can really feel a difference there. Improved cognition. Lots of studies here that show that we think better if we're exercising, if you're getting good blood flow. Less weight gain. Typically, if you're really looking for a weight loss program, you want to combine diet and exercise. But it definitely just a maintenance of your weight, even if you're not intentionally trying to lose weight, just maintaining where you're at, just having a regular exercise program is going to make a big difference there. Better bone health and balance, decreasing falls. So weight-bearing exercise, the resistance, that is really important for your bone health and your balance. One of my favorite sayings in reference to this is that strength and balance is going to keep you in your own home longer than anything else you can do. So, I mean, if that makes sense. If you stumble, you're more likely to be able to recover from a trip than falling. If you do fall and your bones are healthier, you're less likely to have a break. But I think we all know that a fall can be absolutely life-changing for people. So doing anything that you can to prevent those falls and keep your bones and joints healthy is very important. So decreasing depression and anxiety. There's a lot of research showing that it's part of a cycle, a great way to break a depression cycle. It burns off a lot of anxiety, energy that people might have, but it's a lot of research. I've even read in some countries that is the first line recommendation for someone who's having issues with depression is exercise. Just overall better quality of life and well-being. So when you think about the things, being able to do the things that you want to do, if you are conditioned, if you're able to do those things, you're just going to feel like you have a better quality of life. That might be being able to go to kids' ball games. That might be travel. But it makes a big difference in what you're able to do and continue to do throughout your lifetime. Sitting is the new smoking. I think this is something that came out a few years ago, that they were talking more and more about the detrimental effects of just sitting for a very long time. If anybody has a smartwatch or something like that gives you a nice little reminder if you've been sitting too long, I think that's kind of a good thing, to be reminded that you maybe need to get up and move around. Like I said, being at the computer, doing work all day, it's very easy to sit for a long time. Even, scrolling on cell phones, that kind of thing. We've also gotten into with our middle of a pandemic here, we are binge watching some TV shows a little bit more often, I think, than would have been normal in the past. But it's easy to sit for a very long time. So, but it is a huge issue. There's evidence that shows it can lead to organ damage, heart, brain, pancreas, digestive issues. Of course, we know if you're active, if you're moving around a lot, if you're doing good exercise, your GI tract is a lot more regular. Cancer risks, leg disorders, muscle degeneration. Of course, if you're not, use it or lose it. posture problems. Again, that's so easy to get hunched over. All right, so some common barriers here. It's very frequently I hear this, and this is something that we talk a lot about in cardiac rehab. What are our barriers? What's preventing us from doing what we need to do? Why are we not doing this? Because it's usually no big, I mean, everybody knows they should be exercising. I should be doing it, but we're finding ourselves, I don't have enough time. I can't fit it into my day. It's inconvenient. It's, you know, the gym's across town. I can't get there. I don't do it. Too tired or lack of energy. And it's very hard to convince people that that exercise will help with being tired or lack of energy. But when you realize that you're, the more you get conditioned, you're going to improve that tiredness if you're feeling that chronically, if you're feeling that all the time. I'm already active and don't need to exercise, which that's lovely. Getting a lot of steps in your day is very good for you, but it's not quite the same as actual intentionally increasing your heart rate for a certain amount of time. And you can break that up. You don't have to do a full 30 minutes or 150 minutes or whatever the case may be. It's okay if you break that up in 10 minute chunks, but just being active and doing stuff around your house or chores isn't necessarily elevating your heart rate for at least 10 minutes at a time. Myself, I walk, I'm on my feet all day. I'm doing work, but it's not, I usually go from one place to the next and I stop and do a task and then I walk over to another place. Yeah, my feet are tired. I've been on my feet all day, but that is not the same as actually getting exercise. I still have to take my own advice and get moving even after work. So no one to do it with. That can be a challenge. And sometimes it's inviting somebody to do that with you. A lot of people find themselves stuck in the same spot where it's hard to do that. And so, you know, find somebody. Lack of resources or equipment. A lot of people feel like they have to have a gym membership to really exercise, kind of like our my video from before. People feel like they need to have a treadmill at home or equipment at home, but there's really so many things that you can do that are cheap or free, and a lot of things that you can do, you just need some shoes. So there's mall walking, which also was a part of Primetime Alive once upon a time. But just mall walking is great, and that's free. There's lots and lots of videos on YouTube that you can find that are free, and you can do exercises there. You can check out videos from the library if you have a DVD player. You know, even just if you're in not especially mobile, there's chair exercises that you can do, and you can get copies and information. There's lots of places you can get that, including cardiac rehab. But I've not met anyone yet where we can't find something for them to do. We can always figure out, make a plan for a type of exercise they can do. And last but not least, it can be very frustrating. Exercise, if you're feeling like you're continually running into barriers, it feels like it's more work than the benefit that you get out of it. And I'm going to go past that slide because it's just hard to keep watching that. But it can be very frustrating, or maybe you get an injury from it and you're just like, I would have been better off not doing it. It can be very frustrating and give you reasons to stop doing it. So obviously we know exercise is good for us. We know the benefits. We know there's lots of bad things that come from not exercising. So how do you get started? That's usually the hardest part, is getting that first step towards something, making a plan, moving forward. So start slow. Like I said before, that 150 minutes of cardiovascular exercise, you don't need to start at 150 minutes. Starting that, you know, whatever you got 5 minutes, 10 minutes, getting that going. Start yourself with where you're at and be practical with where your starting point is. Because you ran 10 years ago doesn't mean you should start out running today. I always want people to get in slowly, one little step at a time, getting back into it. You know, you don't want to get into full-on yoga poses right away. You're begging for an injury if you're going to go in that direction. The one thing I really, really, really want people to do is have good shoes. I want you to have comfortable and properly fitting shoes, not ones that are too big, not ones that are too small. I want ones that are not going to fall off your feet. You need appropriate shoes for what you're doing. If you're doing yoga or swimming, of course you don't need shoes. But if you're going to be doing walking, any kind of gym equipment, you need good shoes. You need real shoes. And I don't mean you have to spend $250 on a pair of shoes. I mean just ones that aren't going to, athletic shoes that are not going to fall off your feet. Check out different options. A lot of times square one is figuring out where do I even go? What am I going to do? What am I going to start with? Check out the gyms. What is there a pool that you like? Can you go to the hotel pool? How much does that cost? What does it cost for me to get equipment at home? What is going to be what are my options? What have I got? And then find exercise you like. So you can try the walking, and if it hurts my knees, I don't like to do that. Or just it's boring, I don't like that. Then you can just keep trying different things. You can try the swimming, and if you find the walking or biking or something like that, it just feels boring to you, especially if it's on a treadmill or an exercise bike. Looking into classes is great. And there's so many fun classes out there now for all different levels of exercise abilities, but it's worth investigating what's out there. Make it work for your schedule. I think this is something that's probably stops most people, is that I can't find time to do it. I can't. I'm busy. I've got all these things. I've got work. I've got grandkids, kids all over the place, and I can't make it work. Well, I want you to put it on your schedule just like you would anything else. And we tend to find a way to make dentist appointments or hair appointments or doing bridge club or something like that. And this is as, if not more important than all of those things, that getting that schedule, put it on your calendar, put it on your phone, write it on your calendar, whatever works for you, but schedule it. Put it in there, and so that you're much more likely to do it. Making it convenient. So I'm somebody I think I've signed up for a gym membership maybe 3 different times and then got rid of it, and then signed up again, got rid of it. I currently do not have a gym membership, not because I don't like the gym. I love the gym. They have fantastic classes that are really fun. They've got so much equipment, so many different things. The trouble for me is that it was more difficult for me to actually get there than it was to use my treadmill in the basement or to go from a walk straight from my house. So that's just what made it work for me. Now that might not be true for everyone, but find something that's practical. If you know that it's across town, you know that it's not going to work, it's not going to work. You're not going to stick with it. Making it fun. If you hate it, you're not going to do it. Invite your friends, invite your family to come along with you. Like I said, there's usually other people in the same boat. I mean, the information I've provided thus far is not a huge surprise to people. We know it's good for us. We know we need to do it. But you need to get out there and make it fun. Somebody that you can chat with when you're doing it. Like I said, those classes are a blast. They're so much fun. They're very interactive. They're really great to get into classes if that's something that's interesting for you. Like I said, I go to a treadmill, which, yes, absolutely, that can be a boring thing. But what I save for treadmill time is the TV show that I am the only one in the house that wants to watch that show. My husband doesn't want to watch it. My kids don't want to watch it. So I save it for me, and that's what I watch when I'm on the treadmill. And it happens to be Downton Abbey, but nobody else wants to watch that in my house. But I like it, and it's motivating to keep watching it. And sometimes I'm done with my workout, and I don't even realize that it's pretty much done. And I kind of stick around a little to kind of finish the episode. Maybe I'll do some sit-ups, some weights, or something like that to be able to finish watching the episode. But I don't feel guilty about it if I'm exercising at the same time. Track your exercise and celebrate wins. So it's very common that we give ourselves credit for exercise that never took place. I stole that from a video that we show in cardiac rehab, but it's very common that we'll say, oh, sure, I exercise all the time. I'm very active. And then when you actually start writing it down, it's like, oh, maybe I'm doing that twice a week and not really the 4 or 5 times a week like I said I was. So actually write it down. Write it in there on your calendar. Write how long you did it. Write it on just a notepad, whatever you got. And then give yourself credit for when you did meet those goals, when you do get there. Typically, we recommend not using food as a reward, but doing, maybe it's going out to eat, but still trying to make healthy choices when you do that. Maybe it's new shoes, better shoes, maybe some new exercise clothes, whatever the case may be. And maybe it's just going to visit someone, but celebrate those wins and give yourself credit for that when you do get there and you start getting pointed in the right direction. So the options are endless. Like I said, there's people get kind of stuck on, I don't know what to do, it's boring. But when you start thinking about it and putting it out there, there's so many things that you can do. The walking, running, biking, yoga, exercise classes, martial arts, swimming, dance. And dance doesn't have to be formal dance classes. This can be a dance in your kitchen. Nobody else has to see it. Rowing, there is actual rowing machines that you can use, but kayaking has become very popular too. There's all kinds of kayaks that you can rent for very little money, but it's really good exercise to get out there and use your upper body. You might be pretty sore afterwards if it's something you haven't done for a while, but it is fun and it's not boring. So setting goals. I do encourage people to make goals when it comes to activity and exercise. But my advice, it's okay to have a long-term goal, like, I want to run a marathon, but if you've never been a runner, I probably wouldn't encourage you to make that your goal, because that's just not practical and you're just going to be defeating yourself. So make your goals achievable. Make it something, and maybe that's, okay, I'm going to walk 2 times this week. And I'm going to walk around my block or around my section, and I'm going to do that twice this week. I'm going to do it for 30 minutes, and I'm going to do that on Tuesday and Thursday. So try to be really specific. And again, that comes into planning it, putting it on your calendar. This is what I'm going to do. These are what's going to happen. And then reevaluate that every week, because that goal is going to change, especially as you get better at it, as you condition. But I also encourage people to, if you're starting pretty new to exercise, make your checking out your options your goal. I'm going to go visit the gym and see if it's something that I like or would want to do. I'm going to go to a bike shop. I'm going to go look at bikes and see if that's something I could do. I'm going to borrow a bike. Even little things like that can be your starting point for your goal. But once you've achieved that, you're resetting, you're setting another goal, you're building on top of those. But reevaluate those all the time, but make it achievable. Don't make it something that's completely out of reach and very impractical, because you're just going to be disappointed. Breaking down barriers. So obviously we listed a lot of the barriers, and a lot of it's very true. It's like, yes, absolutely, those things happen. There's reasons why we can't exercise. If you love walking outside, you love biking outside, that's great. I love that. It's great for your body. It's great for your mental health, being outside. But we live in Iowa, so there's going to be times where that's not going to work really well. If you're brave and you want to get bundled up and get out there anyway, go right ahead. But for the most part, most of us aren't super crazy about getting out there when the weather's not good, is freezing or raining or whatever the case may be. So plan ahead for that. That those things are going to happen. That things are going to come up. Life happens. So think about it. If it's raining and I can't walk outside, I'm going to go drive over to the mall. I'm going to walk at the mall. If my knee is hurting and it's making me make it so I can't walk anymore, I'm going to start swimming. I'm going to look into a place to do swimming. But that these obstacles, when you're making your goals and you're thinking about these things, that there's going to be challenges that are possibly going to come up. I like to think about this holistically also. So there's obviously a huge mind-body connection. A lot of planning exercise, getting exercise figured out is a mind-body connection. Keeping a positive attitude is a huge part of that. So if you're have a bad attitude about it from the beginning, it's probably not going to work. If you're feeling you've been disappointed over and over from, I can't make it work, I can't do this, and you've convinced yourself before you even start that it's not going to work, it's probably not going to work. So think about the bright side of it. Think about how you can make it work. And again, research here shows that a positive mindset, it can increase your dopamine production, a chemical response for engaging the learning center in the brain. So that really makes it, that's, where that the mental component comes in. It's stimulating your brain. It's making you think better. If you can refocus your physical resolutions to include whole body health, you can build strong habits that are sustainable. So when you're making those goals, you have to think about the big picture. You think about, can I do this? Is this practical? Where am I going to be? Am I not? I want to be disappointed over and over. Happiness fuels success. That's easy to say, but most of us aren't happy all the time. That's just life. But you need to practice gratitude. And this is something that's kind of been out there a lot lately. There's gratitude journals you can buy. People are, stay, and then be mindful is the other one I have up there. But practicing gratitude is more simple than it sounds. And I think people get a little, lose the point of it sometimes. But practicing gratitude, of course, say something I'm grateful for. Well, it's my family I'm grateful for, and it gets a little boring. But think about the little things. I'm really grateful that I had a good cup of coffee this morning. That is I'm grateful that I got some new shoes that really fit. I'm really excited to go use them. The other piece of this here, the be mindful, just being present when you're doing something, making that the focus of what you're doing. And if you're playing with your children or watching a ball game, don't also be playing on your phone. Actually pay attention to what's going on, what's happening. Especially at a ball game, it could be dangerous. You might get a ball hit at you or something. But just be present. Focus on what you're actually doing, and don't try to do several other things at the same time, or being on that phone, or being just continually distracted. But your brain is a very big part of the whole exercise plan. Most important, more than anything I can say, is keep trying. Some things aren't going to work. Some things aren't going to work for you. The things that work are going to change. Maybe you get sick and you completely fall off the rails. Maybe you had surgery. Maybe you had an injury. Hit the reset button, start again. But remember that you're not going to always be able to start right back where you left off. It takes time to get back into it. But just don't forget, just keep trying. Keep trying. And I think that's everything that I've got. So, are there any questions?
Let's see here.
Oh, was I talking really long?
No, you're
okay.
great.
Wow, that was like 30 minutes.
You are great.
Please go ahead and type some in there. I have a few things to go through. First of all, thank you, Carrie. You really encompassed a lot of different things in your talk, kind of in a different way than sometimes we've heard it, and I'm very motivated. So there you go. There you go. I want to remind everyone of our upcoming programs. We have Thursday, March 10th. We only have one program the month of March. People were very busy going on vacations. I think people are ready to get out and about, but we're having a program, Exercise and Osteoporosis, Thursday, March 10th, as always at 2 p.m. And we have a couple of our physical therapists here giving that program. And then we jump into April. So Wednesday, April 13th, we have cancer prevention screenings. Dr. Patel with McFarland Clinic is doing that. And then Thursday, April 14th, again at 2 p.m., using social media. Am I safe with my information? And that is Rhonda Schmaltz, who is from Ames High. She's retired, but has worked a lot with social media type stuff, and has a great presentation that she is going to give and share with all of us. So everybody, you should have received a flyer in the mail, if not today, maybe tomorrow, that has these March through May programs, and they're also on our website, mgmc.org/PTA. So I do not see any questions, but if we get any, I will forward them to Carrie, and she can answer them at that time. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Stay safe out there and get moving. Have a great day.